What's good, y'all? It's your boy Simon. I'm your host for today.
I'm Jesse Boone.
I'm Cody Stauffer.
And all of us are here to bring you some news about sports, our opinions. We're going to talk NFL, college football, and a little bit of baseball. Is that right?
That is right.
All right, so let's get into it. So we got the NFL season, week 2. So it's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to go week by week, game by game this week, but we're going to hit the big headlines. So first off, let's talk about the big-time injuries.
Ben Roethlisberger's done.
Well, there's one thing, and then there's Drew Brees, and some people are saying he's done too. So, Jesse, how about you go first? What do you think about the injuries to Big Ben and Drew Brees? Well, what's the impact?
Well, I think both teams are not going to play as well without them, and I personally think that both of these guys are done. Their careers are over.
They're over?
I think both their careers are over.
What do you think, Cody?
Well, Drew Brees' thumb is only supposed to have him out for 6 to 8 weeks. So I think he can still get back. It's just a thumb, is my thoughts.
I know,
with the
but
Drew
he's
Brees
still
thing.
on. I mean, he's still gonna. After this season, I think he's done. Like I said, I think this is it.
Well, if they don't make the playoffs because of the 6 weeks that he misses or 8 weeks that he misses, I feel like he might run it back one more time.
Okay, that's fair.
Give it one more shot.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like Drew Brees isn't the type of guy to let his legacy be defined by an injury-riddled last season.
Where would you put their playoff chances right now for both teams?
Well,
I think neither of them are gonna make playoffs.
I also agree. Do you want to hear the next 6 to 8 weeks for the Saints?
Sure.
At Seattle versus Dallas versus Tampa Bay, which may not sound like a threat.
That's a trap game.
But it's a trap game for sure. At Jacksonville, at Chicago, versus Arizona, versus Atlanta, and at Tampa Bay. All of these teams look pretty decent, and I don't think that Teddy Bridgewater is going to beat the Seahawks. He's not going to beat Dallas. And then facing Jacksonville and then Chicago back-to-back, like, they'll be lucky if Teddy Bridgewater makes it out of the stretch alive, honestly, with his injury history.
You think Tyson Hill's gonna be?
Yeah, what about Taysom Hill?
I don't think he's ready to take the Saints to the playoffs.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
He's more of a running back anyway, so.
All right. Well, hey, that's fair. In my opinion, so y'all know what it is. I'm a biased Steelers fan. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I don't think the Steelers are done yet. I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs, but I'm not going to, definitively say that the Steelers just won't make the playoffs. I'll just be honest. I think Mason Rudolph looked great. He went, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. But that interception was because of Dante Moncrief because he can't catch anything and should be cut. So there's a difference there. If Moncrief did not, drop that pass, he probably would have been in field goal range.
It wasn't even a drop. It was like a tip drill. It's kind of funny to watch.
The second time he's tipped it into nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's had 10 drops in the last 2 games, which is kind of insane. So
wait, did you say 10?
Yeah.
I haven't even heard of that. I didn't even hear that. That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
He's really bad.
Yeah.
The Steelers got to be really happy about their offseason signing.
Oh, yeah, totally. But, hey, you know what? He just costed us a game.
10 drops is almost as bad as Garrett Bowles setting the record for most holding penalties in a game.
Ooh.
Want to talk about busts. We'll get to that in a second, but we'll keep talking Steelers, and then we'll vent about our Broncos. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the Steelers, we did lose Big Ben for the season. I think he is done. I think Big Ben is done. But honestly, it just depends on how well Mason Rudolph plays. Because if Mason Rudolph even has a slightly mediocre season, I think Big Ben believes he could come back and beat him out. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, you also got to look at coming up. We'll talk about college football later, but I was looking this morning at the quarterbacks that are going to be in this year's draft, and it's stacked.
Oh, yeah.
It is stacked. You have Jalen Hurts, Jake Fromm, Tua, and then this guy from LSU,
Burrow?
Burrow, he's gonna play in the NFL.
Playing lights out
Yeah.
against U of T.
He's a
right,
solid
Simon?
one. Yeah, hey, what about the boy Sam Ehlinger, though? He played great against the top 5 defense in the nation in LSU.
I don't think we shouldn't bring up Sam Ehlinger with these other guys in
Whoa.
the draft class.
What? Really? You weren't impressed at all that he threw for over 300 yards?
No. He did a great job. I just don't think he's an NFL quarterback.
I think he'll still get drafted. I think he'll get drafted in the second tier quarterbacks than these ones that we just talked about. But he'll still make it in the NFL. I don't know if he'll start, but I
don't think he should start right away. But he's a good,
project.
I'm just saying, don't put his name with Tua, Fromm,
and Hurts.
And Hurts.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I'll still put him ahead of Burrow, though. I'll be honest.
I don't know.
Against that Texas defense, though, was that really that? I mean,
I just think Burrow's a more NFL style quarterback.
Okay, all right.
So,
well, that's fair.
We'll see what happens. But I'm just saying, like, anyways, back to the main thing here is with this draft class coming up is why I say I think Drew Brees and Ben Roethlisberger are both done, because I just think the Saints and the Steelers can go and pick up someone that could take over day one.
That's fair. Honestly, I think the Steelers have a guy in Mason. If they don't, I'd be very surprised. So we'll just have to see. But how about both of y'all answer this for me? Do y'all think that the Steelers and Saints would both draft a quarterback in this next year's draft?
I think the Steelers will. I think the Saints will not.
I wouldn't rule out either possibility just with the landscape of the NFL, and I think we have to see how Teddy Bridgewater does. But I don't know if they see Taysom Hill as a long-term solution under center.
No, well, he's like 28, so.
And we'll see if Drew Brees comes back either. Because if Drew Brees, as I predicted, comes back following the injury because they didn't make the playoffs or something, then I don't think they'll draft a quarterback. Okay. Also, I want to follow up. If the Steelers draft a quarterback or if Mason Rudolph takes over, I also wouldn't rule out Big Ben potentially playing for another team.
I can see that.
Miami, dude.
that wouldn't be the greatest.
Use the help.
They could. They're terrible.
They're historically bad.
Yeah, but hey, how about them Jets though? They might be right up with Miami. I'll be honest.
I don't know if the Jets will win a single game rest of the year.
No, they'll pick up once Sam Darnold's back in the lineup. They'll win a few games.
But
he's out for a while.
Yeah, well, they said 3 weeks. It's also Manos, like he could come back next week. It really depends on how he's going. But if we go back to like our NFL preview, Simon, a few weeks ago, I'm completely wrong with Jets. They are not going to win that division at all.
Yeah.
They might not even win over 5 games. So
they were my dark horse choice to make like a 9-7 run, and I'm starting to have my doubts. I mean,
no, that's not going to happen.
They should have beat Buffalo in Week 1 if they wanted to be taken seriously. Yeah. Like losing to Cleveland, that's an okay team to lose to, especially when you're on your third string quarterback, Luke Falk.
Yeah, very true.
But the way that they lost was very
Washington State represent, bro. Washington State represent.
The Mike Leach offense.
Yeah, dude, you got Mike Falk. No, not Mike Falk.
Luke Falk. Gardner
Minshew. Last 2 quarterbacks come out of there.
Speaking of Gardner Minshew, what were your guys' thoughts on his NFL debut as a starter for Jacksonville?
I think he played pretty well. I really do. I think he showed some potential. I think we'll still have to see how it goes in the future. I mean, but it was against Houston, which is a good defense.
Yeah, that's a tough team.
He threw the potentially game-time touchdown, and then they went for 2 with Leonard Fournette, and that's how they lost.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I thought he played all right. There's not really much to say here. I feel like you gotta watch him a little bit more. I've always thought he was a project quarterback. Like he could, step in and start, but like don't expect a whole ton. I'm gonna stick next to the whole Ryan Fitzpatrick comparison I made last week. And then the whole, that's how the whole nickname we got for him.
Yeah, Minshew Magic. Baby.
Yeah, Minshew
Magic.
Yeah.
I mean, he certainly dresses with some Minshew Magic. You see that outfit? He's out of the plane. He's got swag at least.
Yeah, it's something, all right. Looking like Fitzpatrick last year when we all thought he was going to win MVP for like 2 weeks.
2 weeks at a time, baby.
Yeah. We'll see what's up with Minshew. I still think Dobbs will get his start there or get a chance. I mean, I don't think they have anything to lose. Honestly, I'll be real. I think the Jaguars they need this year to take a step back and get rid of some pieces, and some of those pieces might be Jalen Ramsey.
Well, he's going either way, so I think they're going to be just fine. I personally think I don't think they need to take a step back at all. I think if anything they can push teams for the playoffs. Like I really think so.
The AFC South is really weak.
Yeah.
It's wide open.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I think they have a chance. I don't think they need to take a step back at all.
Well, I do think the Texans, they got to be like the front runners though, right?
They barely beat the Jaguars.
Hey, 2-0. Wait, right? No, they're not. They're 1-1 because they lost to the Saints. Dang, that's right. Yeah. We'll have to see then.
The Colts are 1-1 and the Titans are 1-1. We don't really know what to expect from any of these AFC South teams. And their interdivision games are going to be what determine who wins the division, I think.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you definitively that the Texans are better than any other team there, really.
Yeah, I would say if you looked at the film, I think Jacksonville played just as good of a game, if not better, than the Texans.
Okay, all right. Well, that's fair. I mean, we'll just have to see. It is week 2, so we could speculate, overreact, do all these things, but, it is week 2, and we got to remember that. All right, y'all. So we're going to take a little break here, but after this, we're going to be talking about NFL trade rumors and trades that have happened so far after week 2, coming up next. Alright, and welcome back to the cycle. This is episode 4, and we're talking NFL football right now. So, a trade just dropped last night, Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Steelers. The Steelers gave up a first-round draft pick and a couple other picks, and really, I believe this is a great trade for the Steelers. I don't think we gave up too much. We did get a couple draft picks back in return, including, I believe, a 4th and a late-round pick. So, here, before I go into my reaction, Cody, Jesse, how about y'all tell me what you think about this trade?
I mean, Fitzpatrick was a first-round pick, right? So you guys just gave the Dolphins what his value was, basically. I don't know if this move necessarily translates to wins, just because of the position that the Steelers are in. But this is a great move long term. You guys need secondary help, so.
Yeah, I'd agree with that in the same way. I don't think it makes an immediate impact. If I was gonna have to pick what this trade makes an immediate impact on, it's Dolphins, because they could get 2 first-round or 2 top 10 picks really in the draft.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think it makes an immediate impact to the Steelers, but it is. Yeah, I agree with you, Cody, in the fact that it is definitely a long-term investment, and I think in the end it'll pay off.
Yep.
Just not this year.
What's your raw reaction?
My raw reaction? Well, it happened last night, but here's my raw reaction. I think this is a great move because we drafted a bust in Terrell Edmunds, and I know it's his second year, but honestly, he's really not that good. He's very inconsistent. He'll show flashes. Don't get me wrong, he'll show flashes, but he's no Minkah Fitzpatrick. He didn't play at Alabama. You didn't win a ring. You didn't do any of that. He got drafted in the first round when he should have been drafted in the second or third. That's the grade I put on him going into that draft, but the Steelers reached and we're paying for it. But I think we get a good one in Minkah Fitzpatrick. You could easily play Edmonds' spot, or really any spot, because he did play corner, he played safety, he played linebacker for the Dolphins, and did a pretty solid job for them last year, which was his only year in the NFL. But he still did pretty good with 80 tackles and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he can play
He can play anywhere.
Yeah, and honestly, I think we need that because
we can play D-line for all I care.
Well, let's chill out right there. Don't disrespect Cam Hayward and Stephon Tuitt, and Javon Hargrave. But I think we got a good one for sure. I think we got a really good defensive player. I don't know if he'll translate into wins right away, just because we gotta get him up to speed with our defense and whatnot. But I do think once he is up to speed, it will translate into wins. I just don't know when that will be. So it could be 4 games from now, 5 games from now, maybe even, until the end of the season. But we'll just have to see.
I feel like this trade is a win-win for both teams, which is something that's kind of rare to see in the NFL these days, that you feel like both teams got the good end of the stick. But this is definitely a good example of a solid trade.
Very true. It's very rare that you see a trade like this happen early on in the season too, like a big-time trade. So
absolutely.
That brings us to our next one here, Simon. Potential landing spots for Jalen Ramsey. He got in a fight with Doug Monroe, head coach. Didn't look as bad as I thought. Everyone made it sound, it didn't look that bad. I mean, it just looks like Jalen Ramsey was just going off. But
yeah, I wonder what the heck Doug Monroe said to Jalen Ramsey to set him off like that. That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
they're not going to tell us.
No. But anyways, he requested a trade. Let's talk about some potential landing spots for Jalen Ramsey.
Have we heard of any moves for it?
I have not heard anything yet. All they've come out with this last few days is that if Jalen Ramsey is not traded by the end of this week, he wants to play against the Titans.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he did say in an interview that if he's not off the team, he's still going to try his best for his teammates and for the fans of Jacksonville and stuff like that. So we don't need to doubt Jalen's effort or motivation heading into this next week. And, I mean, who wouldn't want to play against the Titans? I mean, who's he going to be covering? A.J. Brown? I mean, he's going to lock down whoever
Corey
is
Davis.
Corey Davis.
Yeah.
He's going to lock down whoever their number one is.
Corey Davis is still that number one there right now. We'll see. That should change, but
Number one.
Yeah. So with Jalen Ramsey, I didn't really hear about many landing spots.
I know. So
honestly.
we'll just talk about just what we think.
Teams that need
But-
cornerbacks.
Yeah.
Basically.
But I was honestly just going to say any team that didn't get Minkah Fitzpatrick, that's on the radar. So the Cowboys, the Rams, I think are in that mix. The Chiefs are in that mix. Broncos, right?
Definitely
And
Denver's
then
in the mix.
I want to say the Bears are in the mix, but I'm not sure. For Fitzpatrick, I don't know.
I don't remember hearing anything about that with the Bears and Fitzpatrick.
If the
but-
Cowboys got Jalen Ramsey, that would be horrible news for the rest of the NFL.
Well, I already picked the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl, but yeah, you're right.
Okay, let's just break them down real fast. Break down a few
Okay.
spots. Let's go with Dallas first. That's what we're talking about.
All right, bet.
They need a corner.
They do.
Like, they have decent corners, but this would just
They put
add
them way over the
yeah,
top.
this would make them a Super Bowl team.
Yeah. And this is the type of splash move that Jerry Jones is always
Willing to
having
do.
cold sweats about in the middle of the night. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, what can I do to catch the headlines?
Yeah.
So
And it'd be
trading
like
for Jalen Ramsey
it would be a lot like the Amari Cooper trade from last year.
That's true.
It really would.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that Dallas could give up a first round pick for Jalen Ramsey, and they'd be okay.
They said the Jaguars said they'll take more too. So
Yeah.
I feel like the Cowboys would probably throw in more.
So do y'all think that Jalen Ramsey is worth 2 first-round picks if you're Dallas, or multiple first-round picks?
I don't.
I don't know if 2 first round picks, maybe like a first and a third.
Yeah.
I say first and third is the ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a first for the upcoming draft and a third 2 years from now.
Uh huh. I mean, I think you could. Help me, Simon? Who is the cornerback opposite of Chidobe Awuzie right now?
Byron Jones.
Okay.
He's pretty good. I'll be
Yeah,
honest. He's
I'm trying to
above
think.
average.
I'm trying to think if you could package deal a first rounder and one of the corners over. But I was just trying to think which one it would be.
I mean, they have some solid corners. I'd probably say either Anthony Brown or Awuzie.
Yeah,
But I think they like Awuzie a lot, though. So
I do. I mean, he did get tested for steroids because he ran so fast. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he caught Saquon, dude.
You didn't hear
Wait,
that?
did that happen?
Yeah, he actually got tested for steroids after he caught Saquon Barkley from the other side of the field.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
he,
saw that.
He got going like 24 miles per hour, I think.
Yeah.
Unlike the next gen stats,
Uh-huh.
it was wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they tested him, and he
He doesn't have steroids.
does not have steroids. He's just a fast guy.
Well, that's another random drug test by the NFL. That's a little weird, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
I would hate if the Rams got him too.
Okay, let's
Really?
move on to the Rams next.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Rams are already a playoff team, obviously.
Well, yeah.
Possibly a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
I think this would solidify them. I think if they got Jalen Ramsey.
And I don't know if the Rams are committed to Marcus Peters long term either.
I probably wouldn't be, honestly.
He's looked very inconsistent.
Yeah, he's a little bit too aggressive playing the ball, but we kind of knew that coming out of Kansas City. But everyone just wanted to spin it that he was, a good young corner. He's maybe a little bit too aggressive, maybe needed to balance out his play, but he hasn't really improved at all. And the Rams still made the Super Bowl, so there's that. But I think Jalen Ramsey would definitely be an upgrade. If you were the Rams, would you think about trading possibly Peters or Aqib Talib, or including them into that package for Jalen Ramsey?
I'd trade either one of them for Jalen Ramsey.
In a
and,
heartbeat?
and like I'd probably say a second round pick
Okay.
for either one of them. If
Would-
they want a first, I'd consider it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jalen Ramsey is a generational talent.
You are a plug-and-play guy for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some less contending teams, I guess
Yeah,
you could
hey,
say.
let's talk about the Broncos actually, because y'all are both fans.
Yeah, the Broncos could definitely use Jalen Ramsey. I mean, they did put all their money in free agency in Bryce Callahan, but he's hurt right now. So, I mean,
Who knows when he's going to feel
Yeah,
healthy?
why not
Yadam
go-
is horrible.
Isaac Adams is
Yeah.
not the best corner, yes.
He's one of the worst.
I
He should be cut.
don't know about cut,
That's fair.
but
He doesn't look good though.
no, he does not look good at all. I
He's
mean,
played
like,
by tight ends.
yeah,
True.
you can watch, if you watch the tape of the Oakland game, like, every time Derek Carr drops back, he looks over at Isaac Adams' way. Every single time.
Yeah.
And he didn't throw it every time, but he still looked to go at him every single time. So I think that if the Broncos got Jalen Ramsey, I think it'd be a huge upgrade, obviously.
What would a package for Jalen Ramsey look like coming from the Broncos?
It's tough. I mean,
We might have to trade Chris Harris, which would suck.
no. I mean, okay, they might have to, but if that's what it takes, then I wouldn't do it. Because you need to have the 2 lockdown corners.
I
I
mean,
mean, Chris Harris is a lot older than Jalen Ramsey. So as much as I have love and loyalty for Chris Harris, I feel like, while he's still good, Chris Harris and I'd say a 2nd-round pick once again would be
Okay.
fair bargain for Jalen Ramsey.
okay.
So Chris Harris and a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah, just
Okay.
because he's older.
What about on offense? Would y'all consider trading one of y'all's running backs, like Philip Lindsay or Royce Freeman?
Well, they have Leonard Fournette, so I don't know if they'd want
They
him.
won't. Yeah.
Well,
They
I mean,
don't-
just a backup.
they don't
Because they
really-
don't have a backup there after TJ Yeldon left. Not a real backup, at least.
I wouldn't trade Philip Lindsay.
No, he's a starting running back, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade for a backup.
But what about Royce?
If I was gonna give them any running back on the Broncos roster, it would be Devontae Booker.
Is he on the roster still?
Yeah, he still is. He's the 3rd running back.
Yeah, it's
Really?
because Theo Riddick's hurt.
Theoretic shirt right now.
That's surprising. Okay. I didn't know that.
No, I don't think they would take a running back. They don't need a receiver either. I think it would have to be on the defensive side of the ball.
I think they might need. I mean, it depends which receiver, but
Maybe we could trade Desean Hamilton.
Do they need Desean Hamilton? They have D.D. Westbrook, Chris Conley, and DJ Chark. Like, all 3 of them are up and coming.
they're. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see with that. Like, that could go either way, though. You know how it is with that.
I just think,
Jacksonville juggles through receivers.
yeah,
Yeah.
but at the same
a lot.
time, like, I just think to your Desean Hamilton point, like, I think they have 3 Desean Hamiltons already better than Desean Hamilton. Like, they're all the same type of receiver.
Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
If you're gonna give him someone, you gotta give him someone like Tim Patrick, who's a little taller, a little bit lengthier, bigger.
All right, so one more destination we're going to talk about, the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, so first off, to both of y'all, how realistic is this type of trade for Kansas City?
Okay. They're the type to make bold moves like this, especially the past few years, and
Okay.
I feel like they want to maximize what they have right now because of Patrick Mahomes. And if Jalen Ramsey's on the defensive side of the ball, this becomes a legitimate Super Bowl favorite.
Team. Absolutely.
Okay.
I agree with that.
It's somebody that
100%.
could cover Antonio
They're-
Brown or Josh Gordon
yeah,
on the
they're a-
Patriots, who's their competitor.
They're a
Fair.
win now team, and this would be a win now move.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great move, especially having like just a star like that, and then having Kendall Fuller on the other side. I think that's solid.
Yeah.
As solid as that gets. And this Chiefs defense, I'll be honest, they've looked a little bit suspect throughout these first 2 games. Not that they've played fantastic teams, but they've definitely looked a little bit suspect. So Jalen Ramsey would definitely help that squad. It would come with a price though. As in the rest of these teams, but with the Chiefs especially, I don't know how valuable a first round pick would be, considering they'll always be 20 to 30 range.
Well, this could be more of your I think backup running back situation they talked about a second ago. So I think you could give a first round pick and LaShawn McCoy.
Well, LaShawn McCoy is hurt, so
I know, but I'm
there's
still
that. Okay.
I would just as an example of there's more backup running backs in. I wouldn't say Kansas City has a starting running back, the caliber of Philip Lindsay. So
Yeah, and the Chiefs
Fair.
have shown willingness to trade first-round picks very easily with the Mahomes trade and the Frank Clark trade. They don't really care about their first-round picks, and even their first-round picks that they do use, like D Ford, they traded him away too. So
yeah,
you know,
We'll have to see
their
what
their willingness is very high.
we'll
All
see
right.
what happens.
All right, that's fair.
Other breaking news in the NFL, if you consider it breaking,
Daniel Jones starting for Eli Manning.
That's true. Hey, Jesse, that was your prediction.
I was a week off, Simon. If you go back and check out our NFL preview if you haven't yet, episode 2.
Yep.
Yeah, our podcast. I did predict that Daniel Jones would be starting week 4 for Eli Manning. He's starting week 3, so I was one week off. So. But yeah, let's talk about Daniel Jones real fast.
so what's your reaction to this?
Are you asking my reaction?
Yeah.
I thought they should have gave Eli Manning one more week. I don't think he had a fair shake. Who did he play in week 2?
Dallas. Or
Okay.
Buffalo.
We
Buffalo
played Dallas week
Okay.
1, Buffalo week 2.
So in my opinion, I felt like he played 2 pretty solid defenses. I still think the Cowboys defense is good. I think Buffalo's defense is low-key good, and they keep them in a lot of their games they've been playing so far this season. So I really don't think Daniel Jones would have done much better. In my opinion, I think that they should have gave Eli Manning more time. There's really no rush here. but I feel like, it's New York, so you got these fans who are, in my opinion, they could be a little bit dramatic and all that, and they love to either think the best out of something or think the absolute worst, and there's no in between. So that's where you get very, I don't want to say irrational, but what's the word?
They're carnivorous. I think
They
that's
are.
a solid comparison to New York.
No,
fans.
yeah. I mean, I want to say they're very decisive, but in a bad way.
They're volatile.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that pressure is really, that's what's causing this decision, because I've heard that, Daniel Jones or that fans, they've been, chanting his name or whatever, or whenever Eli makes a bad play, it's came up. So I think it's more, basically peer pressure or fan pressure than anything. So I think it's a mistake in my opinion.
Did you hear what Pat Shurmur had to say about the situation?
What?
Pat Shurmur said this move was more of a plus for Daniel Jones than it was a minus for Eli Manning. So what I took away from that is it's more about getting the Jones era started. It's more about that than ending the Manning era, because this team isn't going to compete with Manning or without Manning. So regardless of how Manning is played, if you want Daniel Jones to get some experience, why not start him in week 3?
That's fair.
Yeah.
So what are expectations, or what do y'all think are expectations for Daniel Jones going into this week 3 matchup?
Who are they playing week 3?
Tampa Bay. This is a winnable game.
Yeah, I think it's a good game to start at then. Expectations going into this week or like the weeks coming?
Let's go this week and then the weeks coming.
Okay, I still don't think they're going to beat Tampa Bay. I don't think they'll win. I think Tampa Bay, in primetime against Carolina, showed us that they're still, like, you shouldn't write them off. Like, they're still there.
Fair.
So I think Tampa Bay will still win. But I do see a win for Daniel Jones on the horizon. I don't think he'll go 0-3 these next 3 weeks. I think he'll win 1.
The next 3 weeks are versus the Redskins.
That's a winnable game.
That you could beat the Redskins at home.
Possible.
And then it's the Vikings. And then it's in New England.
Well, I'll give them the Washington game then.
Well, that's it, though.
What do you mean? I know. I said go 1-3 in the next 3 weeks.
Okay, that's
I'm going to be honest, this Giants team might only win 4 games this year. This is a tough schedule. They face the NFC North, which I don't know if they'll beat a single team from the North other than maybe the Lions.
I don't know. The Lions.
I don't think
they'll
they'll.
too.
Yeah, I don't think they'll beat the Lions.
They obviously play in the NFC East, so they got to face the Cowboys again and the Eagles twice, and then they face the AFC East, which is the Patriots. They might beat the Jets and the Dolphins, but they didn't beat the Bills. So if Darnold's back, then they probably won't beat the Jets either.
Can I say one funny thing? Just observation.
Sure.
Buffalo has won their last 2 games, both in MetLife Stadium. It's kind of funny. They're running New York City.
That's true. They do run New York City. They run New York State right now, actually.
They beat the Jets in week 1 in MetLife.
Yeah.
And then they beat the Giants in MetLife.
Yep.
They didn't have to go anywhere.
Take that, New Yorkers.
Oh yeah. All right. Interesting.
All right. Yeah. Let me just give you one last thing before we go in this segment here. Just a quick injury update.
Go for it.
Desean Jackson after the next 2 weeks. Any impact? You think?
Wait, what's the injury?
It's a hamstring
injury. He had it prior to the game, but just an update.
I mean, he's old. It's okay.
Yeah.
The Eagles are still a good team.
Yeah, exactly. They still got receivers out there, Aguilar and all them boys.
I'm Jeffrey Lee back, so they'll be.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, hey, so that's the end of this segment. Next, we're going to talk about college football. And then after that, I'll hopefully talk a little bit about baseball. We'll be back after this. All right, y'all. Welcome back. It's me and Jesse here. We're going to be talking about college football. So, Jesse, how about you give me the rundown of, what is it, week 3 of college football?
Yes, week 3 of college football.
All right, let's do it.
Yes, week 3 did not have many headlines, I would say. Not many headlines in college football. I think really just one upset that we can talk about. I mean, the Citadel beat Georgia Tech. I was talking to you about this earlier, and you said, and I agree with you, the fact that the Citadel usually does something like this, so it's not a huge thing. The Citadel beat.
Yeah.
I forgot who they beat a few years ago, but they beat a big team. Was it Ohio State?
No, I don't think it was Ohio State. I feel like it'd be a bigger deal if it was Ohio State.
I think it might have been someone of that caliber.
I was gonna say Florida State. I thought they beat Florida State for sure.
I don't know, but anyways, the Citadel has beaten Division I FBS teams before, so
true.
While it is an upset, it's not crazy.
No.
Yeah, I think other than that, there's not much more. I mean, Clemson won. All the top teams won.
Yeah. It was a pretty simple week of college football.
Yeah, there wasn't a bunch that happened. Yeah. If you're interested, college game days going to Athens, Georgia this week.
Ooh.
Notre Dame, Georgia game. It's gonna be pretty big.
Okay.
So that'll be a fun one to watch going into week 4 here.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about the game real quick?
Sure.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
So here, because I saw some things. People actually think Notre Dame's gonna beat Georgia. I don't think.
I don't think so either. I think Jake Fromm plays well in primetime games, and I think he's going to play great here. I think he's really going to step up. I mean, he's been having not the year that everyone thought from Jake Fromm. I mean, he's still having a good year, but not the year he expected or anyone expected. But I think he'll step up in this situation, this big game, and I think Georgia will win. I really do.
I believe that too, and I don't credit Jake Fromm not playing as well this season to him. It's mostly just the play calling, because this is how Georgia always been. They always have great running backs. DeAndre Swift he's in the Heisman race right now. Yeah. He's playing well, and I mean, why fix what's not broken? Jake Fromm, he'll show up when you need him to. Yeah. I'll be honest. I think I could see Georgia blowing out Notre Dame this game.
I don't know about a blowout, but I think they could be a 14-point favorite. Is that a blowout to you?
No, I wouldn't say.
I don't think it's a blowout. I think it's a 14-point game.
Okay, yeah. See, I could see that too. I could see that for sure. But hey, honestly, I'm gonna just be real. I don't think Notre Dame's ready. They weren't ready for primetime last year. So why do you think they'll be ready this year?
Yeah, I don't think Notre Dame can do either.
No,
I really don't. They have a sophomore quarterback, Ian Book. Junior quarterback Ian Book. I mean, still, I don't think he can keep up with Jake Fromm.
No, definitely not. That whole team, they can't keep up with Georgia. There's no way.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think this should be a must-win. Or I wouldn't say a must-win. Well, I guess every game is a must-win, but I think this is a game that, kind of see how good this Georgia team really is. Because they have talent, but I don't think Notre Dame's all that.
Yeah, I think because Georgia hasn't been super flashy right now, they're still flying under the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
But I still think they'll make the college football playoff. I think they will play in the playoffs. Is that
okay? All right, that's fair.
Yeah. I think, and then before we go on to our Heisman candidates, just wanted to throw this out there. It came out this weekend that a little bit crossover. We're going to talk about baseball in a little bit, but a little bit of crossover in baseball and football here, college football. Fenway Park, so the Boston Red Sox, Green Monster Baseball Stadium, host starting 2020, host a bowl game. College football bowl game. It's gonna be cool. Yeah.
Is there a name yet?
They don't have a name for the bowl game yet, but it is going to feature a team from the ACC. So, and then they're going to play a team from the American Conference. So you could see teams like Miami playing Houston. Like that's what I could see.
That might actually be a dope matchup.
Navy could play in this game.
Can they?
Yeah, Navy's in American.
I thought they were independent.
No, that is Army.
Oh,
Army's
that's
independent,
right.
Navy is in the American.
Okay.
So you can have other games like, I don't know, like even if Florida doesn't have a good year. No, Florida's in the SEC, my bad. Florida State.
Yeah.
Florida State could play in a game like this. It could be Florida State Navy, which would be a good matchup. Just like I think it's gonna be cool to see. Fenway Park is an historical park for baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of history has been made there. I think it's gonna be really cool to see football cross over into there. I think it's really cool.
For sure, yeah. I think that'd be dope. As long as it's not like a Oakland Raiders stadium type of
it might be, because
thing.
If you've looked at Fenway Park, it's not the biggest baseball stadium, especially with that green wall out there. But we'll have to see how it is. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be cool.
That's just an interesting setup to me. I think it'll be dope, but we'll just have to see how it's set up first.
So we'll see. 2020. So that would be this next bowl season coming up. Well, possibly depending upon the name of the bowl, it might be next year. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Bet. All right. So. Next up, we're going to talk about Heisman candidates. And so far, we've been through a couple weeks of college football. So, Jesse, who are your top 3 Heisman candidates in order?
Yeah, so in order, my going into week 4, I have Jalen Hurts leading the way, Oklahoma quarterback, Tua, Alabama's quarterback, and then my 3rd is Jonathan Taylor, running back for Wisconsin.
Ooh. All right, so I'm actually here. I'll tell you mine real quick. So I got Jalen Hurts. After that, I'm surprising myself a little bit. Right now, I'll have Justin Fields.
Okay.
And then I'll say Tua Tagovailoa in that 3rd spot right now.
Okay.
So that's mine. So Jalen Hurts, I mean, it's obvious, right?
Absolutely. He has over 800 passing yards, over 200 rushing yards.
Yeah.
8 total touchdowns, something like that. Saw a headline come out this week that's like, what can't Jalen do?
Fair.
He has weapons all around him at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I just think it's obvious. He's number 1 right now, and I think it'll take quite an effort to dethrone him.
Hey, I agree. Only thing really about, Jalen Hurts is, the level of competition, because he played against teams like South Dakota State, UCLA, which is absolutely terrible. Chip Kelly's got to be fired after this season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's a given.
We'll see if he even gets a high school job.
Oh yeah, UCLA sucks, to be honest. Like it's an embarrassment right now. Mm-hmm. So it's not surprising that Jalen Hurts ripped them apart.
They did play Houston first game of the season, so I mean,
okay.
You got to give them that. They played a decent team.
So Houston's probably the best team
they've played so far, but they're going to get into their Big 12 schedule and they'll play some good competition.
Oh yeah.
So we'll
hey, I'm still looking forward towards that Oklahoma and Texas game. That's going to be the one to watch.
Yeah.
That'll have some implications.
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
But yeah, I think Jalen Hurts, that's an obvious one. So all right, so we got two for you and then 3 for me. How about you tell me why he's number 2 or why he's so close to Jalen Hurts right now?
I mean, he's a winner. I mean,
well, yeah.
I look at his stats earlier today. I think he's thrown he's thrown 7 touchdowns this year and no interceptions yet. So he has no interceptions. He has over 1,000 yards passing. I mean, he just picked up where he left off last year. I think he has over 80 touchdowns in his career in his 3 years passing. I mean, obviously the Heisman Trophy is not a career thing, but even this year, I think he's number 2. I think he's gonna throw over 45 touchdowns and under 5 interceptions. I'm gonna say
that's fair.
I think he has a chance to win it as well. I think he's second right now. I think the only thing he's lacking is the mobility of Jalen Hurts.
Okay, that's fair.
But I think he's a better passer.
Oh yeah, I think Tua's looked really good. I know he threw for 5 touchdowns against South Carolina this last week. Yeah, South Carolina. And that's a good squad too. But 5 touchdowns. That's the first time. Well, actually, yeah, it's the first time an Alabama quarterback has done that since Tua himself. Actually, I think he's the first Alabama quarterback to throw 5 touchdowns, in 2 separate games, which is kind of crazy because they've had some dudes come through. Not the greatest, but they've definitely had some guys.
Jim Karen,
Karen, yeah, he had a great college career.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could throw in Joe Namath after that.
That was a long time.
I mean, I can't think of any other Alabama quarterback right now, to be honest. Maybe Jalen Hurts, actually.
Yeah, but he never got his shot there, really. I don't think he got his chance.
I mean, he had a year and almost 2 years.
Nah, a year and a quarter.
That's still okay. Sure. Yeah, you're right. But hey, I still think that's impressive. I really only have him at number 3 because I have Justin Fields at number 2, and it's a very tentative number 2. Don't get me wrong. It's really hard for me to ignore him just because he's been playing so well. Some people are hating on Jake Fromm though because Justin Fields is playing so well. They're like, oh, how come Jake Fromm isn't playing as well as Justin Fields? Georgia's stupid. Kirby Smart doesn't know what he's doing.
Different offense.
Exactly. Yeah.
Different style.
Yeah, I think Justin Fields he's in position to make more plays than Jake Fromm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, Jake Fromm is handing the ball off more than he's throwing right now.
Oh yeah. And that's because
it's the recipe for success there.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think it's because he has a first-round running back or potential first-round running back in DeAndre Swift, right? And then whatever backup it is to him, he's probably a potential first-round guy in the future, anyways.
Yeah.
So because that's just Georgia, I really don't think there's any shame for Jake Fromm right here. But Justin Fields has been playing well. Granted, it's been against some scrub teams, but same with Jalen Hurts and Tua and all that. So we'll just have to see moving forward. If he could maintain this consistency, I like Justin Fields to be a legitimate, contender for the Heisman.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Fields is a sophomore, correct?
Yes, a true sophomore.
True sophomore. So I don't think he will win it this year.
Okay.
I think he definitely will win it in the future.
Yep.
I think he has potential to win it next year or the year after, depending on it. I just think that, again, Tua and Hurts, I think those 2 quarterbacks are going to outplay him this year, but they're both seniors. Well, Tua's a junior, but he's going to get drafted.
Upperclass.
Yeah, they're upper class. So I think those 2 have the race at quarterback this year, but definitely Fields is the next one in line for that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I think he will win a Heisman Trophy, just not this year.
Yeah. See, I said at the beginning of the season that Justin Fields, he's somebody that I like. Well, okay, he's not somebody that I like, but I like his talent, I like his ability, but I don't know about his mentality. Honestly, I think he's still a young guy. He has a lot to learn. So I'm honestly low-key just waiting for him to screw up because I think it will happen. And it's not just on him. Ohio State almost always screws up at least once.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of a thing that happens.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Fields does it. My number 3,
Okay.
talk about him real fast, Jonathan Taylor, running back for Wisconsin.
Yeah.
He is playing tremendous right now.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to. I think if you talked to me at the beginning of the college football season and you asked me which the number 1 running back can get drafted, I would have told you Travis Etienne, but that has been overtaken by Jonathan Taylor. I definitely think Jonathan Taylor will be the first running back taken this year in the draft. I think he has, from last year, he has grown into an all-around back. I mean, he's always been a good running back,
Right.
but I think he added the pass-catching ability this year, which makes him just even better. He's the leading scorer in college football right now for points.
Really?
Yes, he has the most points. He has.
Wow.
He had 8 total touchdowns in 3 weeks. He has 3 receiving, and that would make 5 rushing. He is the leading scorer in college football right now, and while I don't think he will win the Heisman Trophy, I definitely think he has the ability to be a top 3 candidate.
Hey, that's fair. I could see it too. I see him creeping up. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I've always been kind of high on Jonathan Taylor, but you did say, well, this wasn't even on the podcast, I don't think. It was, we were just talking, but you did say that Jonathan Taylor is getting a lot of touches. He's getting used a lot, so we'll have to see how that translates into the NFL because you are seeing things like, happen with Todd Gurley and Leonard Fournette, who are high usage guys. So we'll just have to see, but he's a tremendous player. I'd say I'd have him in my top 5 if I had to, rehash it out. But yeah.
Top 5 Heisman candidates?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Heisman candidates. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's number 3 for me.
Yeah, for sure. He's a great player.
All right, that's it for our college football segment here, Simon. We'll watch what happens in week 4.
Yep.
It's gonna be a good week of college football.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great week of college football. A lot of big things that might be happening. So go stay tuned. We're gonna cover that for y'all.
Yeah.
We'll be back after this.
Welcome back to the Cycle 365. Me and Cody here are gonna talk to you about baseball.
Yep. There's a lot going. There's only 12 days left
12 days
in the MLB season. As of this recording, there's going to be even less when you actually listen to this.
You will. There will be approximately 8.
And there's a lot of big news. Mike Trout's season is done.
Yeah, but at the same time, like the Angels weren't doing anything anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
do you think he could still win MVP? 45 home runs. His WAR I think is 8 point something. And he's the leader of both in the AL.
Yeah, I think he could win the AL MVP. So yeah, I think he could.
Yeah, and in other news, Mookie Betts just had an MRI on his foot.
Yeah, at the
but
same time,
this doesn't really affect.
Boston's not doing anything either. So.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Boston will make a push for the playoffs.
I think the only injury that's concerning right now that you have to worry about is Christian Yelich in Minnesota, or not Minnesota, sorry, Milwaukee, close.
But they both start with that.
Yeah,
and
they're right next to each other. So
yeah,
Milwaukee Brewers, because they're still putting a push in the National League Central. I mean, like, I think
they are just on the outside looking in.
Yeah, if you really look at it, like, I think in every other division besides the National League Central, the division leader is a lock in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only one that's still up in the air is the National League Central with St. Louis, Chicago, and Milwaukee. But I think this injury to Christian Yelich is going to hurt Milwaukee. I mean, sure, they still have Ryan Braun, and he's been playing ridiculous, but
lights out.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you lost the MVP from last year. Like, Christian Yelich was the National League MVP last year, and you lost him. I think Milwaukee will still win at least 3 more games, but I think they're going to slowly just drop out because of his injury.
And I mean, I'm not going to rule out Milwaukee, especially because they have a solid team other than Yelich, but at the same time, they're behind the Cubs and the Nationals right now, who are fully healthy heading into this final stretch. And the Cubs can even make a push for the Central because they face the Cardinals.
They could. I think, yeah, and if you don't know, Christian Yelich's injury was a shattered kneecap, so I mean, he's done. He's just done.
So even if they made the playoffs, they wouldn't.
Yeah, so I think if you really look back last year at Milwaukee's push, it was solely on the shoulders of Christian Yelich.
Yeah, he was the reason that they were on fire and that they did anything in the playoffs to begin with.
Yeah, so I think just losing that piece is going to be big moving forward. So all in all, I think my evaluation is Milwaukee is not going to be playoffs.
Yeah. So do you have the Nationals and the Cubs being the wild card teams?
I think.
NL? Or do you think the Cubs will overtake the Cardinals?
No, I think the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals will win it. I think the Cardinals will win the Central, and then you have the Nationals and Chicago in the wild card.
All right, and for the AL, it's
basically just a three-team race between Oakland, Tampa Bay, and Cleveland.
And Cleveland is still semi-competing for the Central in the AL. They are 5 games behind the Twins.
Yeah, 5 games is tough. I think the Twins will make sure that they win that division. They haven't won in a while, so
yeah.
I think they're going to.
And it looks like the Yankees and definitely the Astros are going to win their divisions.
Like I said just a few minutes ago, I think besides the National League Central, I think every other division leader is a lock.
Yeah.
At the champion or winning that division.
Well, I mean, the Yankees and the Astros are about to win 100 games.
Yeah.
The Dodgers are probably going to win 100 games.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hard to not win your division if you win 100 games.
Yeah, I think they're going to win it. Well, I mean, we can talk about this too. 2 teams have clinched their division in LA. The Dodgers have clinched their division in Atlanta. The Braves, they've also clinched the division. So there's no, really no races there.
Well, okay, so there's.
I was going to say I don't believe it, but they don't.
There's a huge series. The Nationals and the Cardinals are playing each other in a series, and this could affect the wild card race and the division race in the NL.
I just think
because if the Nationals drop 2 of these games, that puts the Brewers right back in it. You have to look at who is facing who down the stretch.
At the same time, though, I don't think Milwaukee will win enough games. I think they're going to lose. That's why I think they're going to drop.
I mean, we'll see, right? It's all up to speculation.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to choose, like from a fan perspective on who you want to watch October baseball, who you want to watch for October baseball, what wild card matchup do you want to see in the NL, and what wild card matchup do you want to see in the AL?
I think I'll just start with AL. I think I definitely want Oakland in the American League.
Absolutely.
Wild card. I mean, if they were in any other division, they would be winning it.
Yeah.
Just the fact the Yankees have almost won 100 games. Like, Oakland still won 90 games. So I think I definitely want to see Oakland, and I would like to see Tampa Bay because I haven't seen Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay hasn't had a chance at the playoffs in 12 years, I'm going to say. Since they went in Tropicana Field in the new stadium. They haven't had a shot. So I think I would want to see Oakland and Tampa Bay.
I feel like the Indians, with all the experience that they have on that roster, could make a bigger push in the overall AL. So that's why I personally would rather see the Indians.
Yeah, so Indians
in the wild card.
Indians
and the Athletics. The Athletics, of course. Okay. I mean, Oakland's been an entertaining team to watch, especially near the end of this year.
Yeah.
They're not letting people hit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're hitting dingers. I mean, okay, every team is hitting dingers this year in the MLB, but Oakland is just doing it at the right time, and they're doing it smart. They're not hitting as many solo blasts as a lot of these other teams are. Mm-hmm. They're getting runners on base, and they're playing more fundamental baseball.
Yeah, I think, just back to your question, though, as a fan, I want to see Tampa Bay.
Okay.
That's why.
Because of the draft.
The underdog.
Yeah, that's
underdog story.
And they do have the lead right now.
Oh yeah, by a game and a half over
in the wild card currently.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to see how that pans out. But that's what I want. And now in the National League, that's tough. I would like to see St. Louis first of all win the division because I think St. Louis has the best chance to push.
Yeah, which is weird because just a few months ago they were under 500.
I know, which is fun to watch. But again, just like as baseball, we all know baseball is kind of a boring sport, so we want to see the exciting parts, right?
Yeah.
So let's see St. Louis go. Keep going.
Same baseball.
Yeah.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah. So let's. All right. So that brings us down to really just
the Nationals, Cubs, and the Brewers is probably what I would say.
I personally think it would be really fun to see Chicago play Milwaukee because that's in a divisional rival. I think it would be crazy for one game. They're close together. I think the stadium would be absolutely insane.
It'd be electric.
Yeah. Especially if they're playing it in Chicago. In Wrigley Field.
It'd be sold out.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think it would be really cool to see those two teams play. I don't think, like I said earlier, I don't think Milwaukee will make it. I think it's going to be Chicago and Washington. But to answer your question, I would like to see Chicago and Milwaukee.
I completely agree. As a baseball fan, that Chicago and Milwaukee would be a heck of a game to watch.
Yeah.
And Milwaukee, they're still playing quality baseball, and the Cubs, they're relevant now. So
yeah,
it'd be good to see that. At the same time, that would be my ideal situation. However, I think it'll be hilarious if the Nationals make the playoffs without Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper's watching them from his couch in Philadelphia.
And they don't make it.
Yeah. So that basically wraps up Jesse and I's expectations for the rest of the MLB season.
I mean, it's only going to be, when you listen to this podcast, eight games left. So I think it's going to be a drive or a grind down the stretch. It's going to be fun to watch. Like if you like baseball, even if you don't like baseball, you just like sports in general. Like tune into October baseball is some of the best baseball or best sports in general, really.
Absolutely. And this final push in September, this is the tightest the race has been since I can remember.
Yeah.
I mean, all these teams are within 1 or 2 games of each other for the wild card, and they're good teams.
They're all
it's
good,
not a team sneaking in that's going to just be one and done, or if they win the wild card game, they're going to get swept. No, all these wild card teams could potentially make a push in the playoffs.
Yeah,
is my belief.
Yeah, so tune into the wild card push. We'll call it that.
The wild card push.
The last 2 weeks.
Because the division is basically done.
Yeah, the division's done. So
the divisions have been decided.
So let's tune into this wild card push and see what happens.
Yeah, and you'll definitely hear our reactions in the future as far as who made the wild cards, and then we'll be talking October baseball for sure in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, y'all. So that'll be it for episode 4 of the Cycle 365. This is one of your hosts, Simon Villeneuve.
I'm Jesse Booten, and Cody had to dip out, but
he's
here.
Yeah, he was here, but hey,
he's here in spirit.
Thanks for sticking with us. Check us out on social media. Link should be down below. Also, check out our website that is up and running and has all the podcasts we have so far. We'll have a link to that in the description. So thank you for rocking with us. Check out the links below. Peace.
Hey guys, Jesse here from your favorite podcast, The Cycle 365. If you tuned in last week, I started this segment of my 3 videos of the week. So this week I will give them to you. If you want to check out something funny, watch Mississippi State's quarterback Garrett Schrader get helicoptered 9 feet in the air. Yes, it was 9 feet. They measured it. So check that one out for funny. If you want to see the best play of the week, watch Najee Harris, running back for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He just runs through like 8 people and goes to the end zone. And then if you want to watch the fail of the week, check out the Iowa State game. Iowa State was going to get a chance to win the game, and one of their punt return people just ran into the returner, and yeah, just watch it. It's pretty bad. It is the fail of the week. Yeah, these videos will be on our website, as Simon said. Check the links down below. Check out the videos.